All right, it's officially Emirates Cup Day. We've made it to the bright, shiny courts. We're good to go. We're joined again by Mr. Worldwide Rob Perez. How are we doing tonight? We ready? We ready for the? Did you get your 3D glasses so you can see the court effectively?
First of all, the technology is working. It's live on my channel. Yeah.
Wow, dude.
The first time I've done a live video on X. That's the first thing. So congrats to both of us. A little round of applause for making it work. In 4 minutes, we figured out how to do multiple stream keys on the fly. So if you're looking for some tech consultation out there in the world, hire the two of us because we just figured it all out in literally 90 seconds. Second of all, what is that music? Were you doing an NBA porn before you started doing this full time?
Listen, man, I'm trying to merge the things that people like. And based on this weird internet stuff, it's NBA and it's porn. So I was trying
we know what sells on the internet, but I think you're also old enough to remember the Skidamax days. That was the music that you heard every single night, ending in Y between 11 and 1 o'clock. What is that music?
That's
I couldn't get over that.
It's like when you were adjusting the bunny ears, trying to get the late night feed. That's what this music's setting the mood for.
Good way to start the show. Well, happy NBA Cup Day. Yeah. This is supposed to be a major date on the calendar. The NBA's billing it as such, and it's the type of night that you're supposed to hype up, regardless of if the games are good or not. The good news is we have two good games. I don't know about the rest, but the two national television games should deliver.
Yeah, so those ones I am excited about. We've got Clay coming home. I think that'll be fun. I'm excited for that matchup. Apparently, they've got a video locked up ready for it. Steph's gonna say a few words at the top. I love that. And then we've got the Portland Trailblazers. They also play tonight. I don't think that's one of the games people are excited about, but they do play basketball. That's
a fact. But I mean, listen. As we go live here, news dropping about minutes restrictions for Joel Embiid and still Paul George tonight. Did you see that? They're both officially on a minutes restriction, but the minutes restriction with Paul George has been like minutes restriction. He gets up 18 shots a night on 31 minutes played, and Nick Nurse is out here saying he's still not, quote, out of the woods just yet. Yeah. So we should probably expect 30 minutes. But listen, man, this Philadelphia 76ers team's at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, and this is a nationally televised game, big expectations with Embiid back. And those Philadelphia fans are going to be forming opinions based on the first 5 minutes of how this goes. So if he comes out and he's doing his whole DX, they're going to love it. But if they fall behind 14-0 or 14-4, the boos are going to rain down, and are we sticking with the minutes restriction?
Right. And Karl Anthony Towns is the matchup, right? And they have a little fun history, and Embiid in 25 to 30 minutes. If that is what his minute restriction is going to look like, I think from like a fantasy perspective, he could probably still do enough damage in that time. So I'm still kind of intrigued by him. And we also had all of the craziness with Atlanta. No Trae Young tonight in that Celtics-Hawks matchup. but we do have Tatum, who rolled his ankle in that Giannis game. He is going to play, and Joe Mazzulla went out of his way to say that there's no minute restriction on
no
Tatum.
minute restriction for either of them.
And right. And I think one thing to remind people, just if you're in the fantasy space, the So Rare space, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, there's like this rule here as a tiebreaker for the cup games. So when we get to the end of group stage, they use the point differential as a tiebreaker. So even though you're looking at the Celtics playing the Hawks and the spread's like 10.5 or 13 or whatever it is.
Dude, what did Mazzulla do last year that got him in hot water with Billy Donovan?
Ran it up.
Hack-a-shacking Andre Drummond up by like 40. And then the two head coaches meet at midcourt, and he had to explain the reason why I'm doing that is because point differential matters.
Right.
And there's no such thing as a blowout tonight because there are going to be teams, especially at the end of the group stage in the NBA Cup, where this gets even more extreme as they're trying to win games or lose by less than a certain amount of points. So I'm not worried about, let's say, the Celtics blowing out the Hawks, and then you got Tatum coming back from an injury. In theory, it would make sense that he sits the fourth, right?
Right.
But I think they're going to play 30, 35 minutes no matter what the score is, what makes the NBA Cup a little bit of an outlier for us because, working with Sorare and getting your lineups ready for tonight, you're always thinking of, in the back of your mind, you're looking at spreads. Like if this is a blowout and if it's a 15-point spread, I have to worry about said player in my lineup being benched and then they don't fulfill expectation. That is not the case with NBA Cup, and that's what makes this different and so exciting is I think you get the full quartet of minutes no matter what the circumstance is, unless said player gets hurt.
Yeah, and I think like especially for the Celtics and the Timberwolves is another example of this where like you might in a normal week maybe you're nervous to throw a Rudy Gobert, a Julius Randle, and Anthony Edwards out there because you're like, wow, man, they're supposed to kill Portland. But you're right, they can still roll it. I will say though, on the other side of both of those games, because some of those guys who pop really well, let's talk about Atlanta here for a second with no Trae Young. Everybody's gotten pretty excited about Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is a card that I own. I'll actually share a screen here to show you my So Rare lineup that I'm throwing in here. And I'm actually thinking about making an adjustment here. So right now, I've got Jalen Johnson in that lineup. And I'm a little bit nervous that with no Trae Young, the Atlanta offense completely craters. And that they just they aren't able to manufacture stuff. And because it's like Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, like the Capello Kongwu. But like,
who's going to be on the ball for them? Roddy?
Somebody put it in the chat. I think, is it Keaton Wallace?
It is. Oh my God.
And
insert how far deep into the bag we're reaching here.
That's what I'm saying.
Can Jalen Johnson do this whole Devin Booker, James Harden? I'll be the one tonight. I'll be the floor general.
And so, like, if you just look at any sort of projection thing, like wherever you're playing your fantasy basketball, Jalen Johnson actually projects as like a top 14, top 12 guy tonight. And like he's projecting technically better than somebody like Jalen Brunson, who's going up against the Sixers, who I also own, and Cade Cunningham. And so, like, projection-wise, you're supposed to throw Jalen Johnson in there, but I actually don't feel comfortable doing it because I just don't know who's going to create offense for this team. And I love Jalen Johnson, but I don't know if he's.
These were the games that he went off last year when DeJounte Murray was hurt, Trae Young was missing time, and the two of them were staggering when they were in the lineup. This is when Jalen took off. Yeah. When the usage is redistributed his way, he could really fill up the box score tonight because who else? It's not Dyson Daniels is out there for defense, 3-and-D type guy. Who's the high usage player? Not Clint Capella. DeAndre Hunter, is he even playing? Every day is something different with him. So he's out. Who's going to actually get the shots up and initiate offense?
I know. And it should be Jalen Johnson. I'm just nervous that they're not like, would you play? So I'll show you here what my other options would be and again, if you guys haven't signed up for Sorare, you should be able to see some information on that in the show notes. Let me see if I can edit this quickly. And we're looking at Jalen Johnson. If we switch, would you play Cade Cunningham or how are you feeling about Jalen Brunson though? Brunson? No, you'd still.
It's Jalen Johnson's probably the number one. If it wasn't against the Celtics, he'd be the number one play on the board because the Celtics defense is going to do its thing and it's going to make his life hell. But once again, the asterisk here that this is an NBA Cup night and Jalen Johnson's going to be on the floor despite being down by 40 because if they lose this, if they get blown out that bad, their NBA Cup campaign is practically over with the score differential. You can afford to lose one game in the group stage by a small amount of points. So if you get blown out, you can't afford to do that. My anticipation is he's got to be on the floor for the entirety of this game, especially without Trey. Otherwise, it's over. What's the point of playing any more cup games? And as a result, I would expect his usage percentage to be near 40%, which is like 2016 Russell Westbrook territory.
Yeah. And so this is an unbiased take, by the way, because I did bring up the name Jalen Brunson, and you still went Jalen Johnson.
But the Knicks are great, especially if you're into things like daily fantasy, Sorare, because there's a guarantee Jalen Brunson is going to play a bare minimum, even if he's in foul trouble somehow. He's going to play 35 minutes because that 6-man rotation is just locked in here until Precious Achiuwa and Mitchell Robinson return to the lineup. They are going to 1 minute of Tyler Kolek. You'll maybe see 7 or 8 minutes from Jericho Sims. But even if Karl-Anthony Towns gets into foul trouble, it's going to be Jericho Sims, not Jalen Brunson, like moving around positions and stuff.
Right.
So with all of that said, yes, Jalen Brunson's usage will be high tonight. But we're talking about a Game 7 atmosphere in Philadelphia, revenge narrative. There'll be a lot of Knicks fans in the building. It's one of the lowest totals on the board, if not the lowest last time I checked, at 212.5. True. Everything is going to be a grind in the half court. So my anticipation from Brunson is he's going to shoot 18 times. He's going to make about 7 or 8 of them, a couple threes. He'll get to the free throw line a ton, but that box score comes out to a grand total of, let's say, 30 points, 6 assists, a rebound, and a steal. Is that more than Jalen Johnson's upside? Absolutely not.
Yeah, and I wonder, too, how many people are box score hunting, and if you saw what he did against the Pacers, you're like, oh, Brunson's back, and you just have to remember that the Pacers are not interested in a defensive game. So everybody gets right against the Pacers. One other thing that I totally missed, because this got announced last night, that Damian Lillard's in concussion protocol. So if you are trying to find some value in a lot of these Milwaukee guys, Doc Rivers, probably against everything he believes in, is being forced to play young guys.
It's got somebody. Is it AJ Green? Who's going to get the usage?
We're seeing some AJ Green out there. I believe Ryan Rollins is a name that's out there. Andre Jackson Jr. is getting a little buzz too.
So here's what I fear: if you buy into the Ryan Rollins hype, in that there's always these situations where the star goes down, especially during the regular season. They pull some no-name off the bench, and he goes out there, he plays the first 6 minutes of the first quarter, and you don't see him again until the beginning of the third quarter. And then he finishes the box score with 12 to 15 minutes played, and you were fooled because someone was in a starting lineup. Just because they're in a starting lineup does not guarantee that they will get starting lineup minutes. I think a lot of that, who's going to be the guy to stretch the defense tonight? I think it's going to be AJ Green. Of course, Jackson's been getting the minutes too, but they have to find that pick and pop partner with Giannis or somebody out there that can stretch the floor. I think he's going to get up 10 threes tonight.
Yeah, I like that. I like that call a lot. And I think to your point, a lot of times when the star is out, everybody assumes the next guy in. And it's not the situation of when Tyus Jones backed up Ja Morant, or actually what we're seeing Scottie Pippen Jr. do now when Ja Morant goes out. You're like, that's an easy plug and play. Where in this scenario, I kind of just to me, it just elevates the guys that are already performing and makes Giannis, obviously you're playing Giannis if you already have him, makes Brook Lopez a little bit better, makes whoever the usage guys are just better than instead of dumpster diving. That's, I was going to say no disrespect, but obviously you can't say dumpster diving and no disrespect.
No disrespect, but you're the equivalent of dumpster diving. Wait, I have a quick comment. Can you pull up AJ Green's price tonight?
Yeah,
because especially with the free contest on Sorare, giving away cash, by the way, for those of you watching this, a free-to-play cash prizes because of the NBA Cup. But AJ Green tonight, if you're in one of these rare or limited leagues, he's going for give me current cards.
Yeah,
we don't need the classic leagues. You always do this. Give me the give me the new stuff. All right, none of that old product. So we're looking at a salary cap of 13.
13, yep.
Okay. I mean, that's cheap for a guy that's about to get up 10 threes tonight.
Yeah, I like that call too. Also, I mean, I don't know if he went to Duke, but this is the most Duke-looking photo I've seen, I think, in a while. This is real Duke energy in it.
Well, you have to, if there's young kids watching, this is what frustrates me about Duke, is they've rebranded to, they're known for Kyrie Irving and Zion now. Yeah. That is not the Duke. No. That everyone, if you really want to get me going, you talk about Duke. I'm a Carolina grad and I hate Duke.
Oh,
but
I don't think
I grew up with Christian Laettner, obviously JJ Redick, the Grayson Allens of the world. That's real Duke. But now because they've had such success and they bring in all these number one picks, them for Kyrie, for all their big, even Jalen Johnsons and now Cooper Flagg. But,
that's funny. One other thing, let me remind some people too. So you had touched on the free contest that has some money. Also, if you buy a card here during the Emirates Cup run, as you can see, the Risa Shea pops up, but they're giving out some VIP trips to Vegas for the semifinals and finals, and you get some raffle tickets for that just by purchasing a card. So if you are trying to scoop up a couple of these to participate in the Emirates Cup tournaments here, whether it's on the limited or rare side of things, you get a handful of raffle tickets just for getting in there. So go ahead.
I have 2 points here. The first of which is we have 2 French guys on the screen, and I know we have a bunch of French employees here at Sorare. Is this on purpose? How did they get to the front of the screen?
No, that does feel like some French bias here. I don't know if we scroll down and Koulibaly's there. I was Sarr.
Sarr.
Okay. Three of the first four French. Yeah, that feels forced.
This is propaganda. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to have a word with Mr. Julia. Okay, but now second point. We were talking about point Jalen tonight. Mm-hmm. Could they unleash a point Risa Shea?
I mean,
what the hell? Let's see what you got, kid.
To your point about Jalen Johnson playing like 35 minutes, I mean, Risa Shea is locked in for all of the minutes, right? I love guys like that too that are just 100% blowout proof. They're like, well, we got to see what we got in the young guy. Let's put him in another environment. So yeah, I like that.
Did it in the preseason, by the way. It wouldn't be completely unprecedented that they're running offense through Risa Shea and just see what happens, man. I know it's against the Celtics. Good luck, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, yeah, you're right. Somebody has to do something, and I'd rather bet on talent than somebody that's just like the ninth guy on the bench that all of a sudden is getting 15 minutes. Do you have any take on Mr. Klay Thompson turning back time here tonight in his return to the Bay? Do you see they're doing the captain?
I was on an embargo. I've known about this for a while, but when I went up to Golden State to do the season preview, I got to speak with Steph, Draymond, and the PR team. It was a secret at the time that they were going to be doing the Klay's captain caps. Everyone in attendance they look really nice too.
Yeah.
Real caps, Golden State logo, and everyone's going to tip the cap to Klay because he always showed up to games in his boat. And so that'll be a thing. It'll be pregame. It'll be emotional. We'll all hold hands and sing Kumbaya and remember all the great times. When this game starts, though, I think the most ideal outcome for it is Klay and Steph both making 10 3-pointers tonight, going shot for shot against each other. That's the best storyline because this is probably the biggest revenge / rivalry spot that we have on the calendar this year. In years past, it's Kyrie going back to Boston. It's Kevin Durant going back to Oklahoma City. It's been LeBron back to Cleveland when he joined Miami. This isn't the same level because it's more based out of love than hate.
Right.
But it's an opportunity for Klay to just catch fire and make his own storylines against Steph, who's coming off a night game. So that's what I want to see. And if we're talking about Sorare implications, 25 is a low number for a guy that's getting up shots tonight. And Jason Kidd, and they're drawing up sets for him to get him going early. They want this to be his night. So they're playing through him. Luka's banged up, by the way. He was questionable last game. Mm-hmm. So why not have a high volume Klay Thompson night? I can't pick out a better opportunity for that to happen than this one.
No, you're absolutely right with Jason Kidd just being like, here, we got to have at least 10 to 15 plays drawn up so that Klay just gets open looks. And I mean, Klay does have a low floor in his new world of basketball. So yes, there are some duds in there with how, being a third, fourth option with Dallas, but he still does have the ceiling. And if he catches fire, especially in this environment, I would rather be on the right side of that. So I like that. The other guy I wanted to point out here, because we're 20 minutes in, we haven't done any sicko mode stuff yet. I don't think so. I don't think anyways.
Wait, we were just talking about AJ Green.
That's true. That's true. AJ Green.
And
that is true. We did do
Wallace
AJ Green.
was in the chat.
That's true.
Because there's people watching this on my Twitter right now. It might be the first time they've seen the show. But why I enjoy doing this is because this is one of the few conversations that I can have on the internet with a true sicko. And I know people watching this know exactly some of these players that we're about to be talking about, but we care more about the buy lows than the obvious.
That's right.
Address the storyline and Clay and Joel Embiid's return, but we're more concerned with who's getting those minutes at the Zeke Najis of the world.
That's right. That's right.
With that said, please proceed.
Yeah, and I'm not saying we should buy this guy because he's already too expensive at this point, but it is Goga season. It is Goga.
How did he do for you the other night?
He put up 40.
Okay, so you were right.
He put up 40. He now his cap has gone from what was a 4 to, or no, I think he went from a 10 to a 16, so it's a little bit tougher now. But they are playing, and we did this last time, but I forget who we were talking about when we did this. But let's remind the people who is the starting center for the Charlotte Hornets right now. Taj Gibson.
Oh my God. Oh, you're right.
So it's Taj Gibson and somebody that I'm forgetting his name that begins with an M. And I'm somebody in the chat who is a Hornets fan will roast me for not knowing it. But Goga is going to be I'm rolling him out there again this game week because he's just, again, they like Bigs bang up Charlotte. Yabusele just recently off the bench for the Sixers supplanted Drummond. They're done with the Drummond run here in Philly. Yabusele comes out there and just went, I think he went for like 20 and 8 in like 19 minutes or something like that. So it's Goga time.
Talk about inflation. I didn't believe it was actually real. You hear about it in the news in the real world all the time. $59 for Goga, knowing after he drops 40 plus Sorare points the other night and what he's going to do to Charlotte. I mean, it's Goga season. Is it too late though? Is he already mooning? Has he mooned?
This is this is not a financial advice show, but you should not be buying Goga right now. But if you have Goga, he's an excellent play. But I can't, in the right mind, tell anybody to spend 127 American dollars on a rare Goga.
His game is. This is with all due respect, but something disrespectful is coming. I'm not going to say we're going dumpster diving, but he is flea market Ivica Zubats.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
He's the exact same type of player.
Yeah, he's not doing anything outside of the paint. It's just
he holds the ball above his head. He's going to get dunks, putbacks, and rebounds like crazy. He's tall, he's big, he's cognizant of his surroundings, and he knows his role. He's going to get a ton of defensive rebounds because he's the only one down there, and he's the biggest guy on the floor. Give that guy the ball on the block. He'll turn and he'll drop it in. This is going to be, my guess is 13 points, 15 rebounds, 1 block. That's his stat line tonight.
And that's enough.
Zeros everywhere else.
That's enough for his cap. I like that. They're not on the slate tonight, but I'm just going to bring this up for a second because somebody said Grand Theft Alvarado messed up his lineup. Are you going to be playing some minutes for the Pelicans at the 1 and the 2 in the coming weeks?
And so Antonio Daniels is my SiriusXM partner today, and he's got his, even before we went live, he's got his head in his palm. This is a man who knows that there's still 72 games on the schedule, and they are running offense through Brandon Boston Jr. right now. And if Brandon Ingram, who has been injury prone in the past, ever goes down, we're going to be playing capture the flag very early in New Orleans. They are missing DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones, Zion Williamson. They just got Trey Murphy back, Jose Alvarado, CJ McCollum. They're missing 110 points of offense.
Yeah. Hawkins, did you say Hawkins too?
Yeah, I did not. So that's another name that I forgot about. Jordan Hawkins is down. And listen, if Brandon Ingram was not on a contract here, he'd probably be down too, with all due respect. But Brandon Boston Jr. is probably the guy that you're buying there with the most upside. He's borderline triple-double categories right now.
Yeah, he's been great. Another injury here. Magnum, good segue here. Said if Ayton's out, Ayton was a late Q tag. I don't really know what to do here. I know like Klingon would be a fun one to play here. He's expensive because he's a rookie and has a cap of 16. But Time Lord has returned, and I'll be completely transparent. It's tough to watch the second half of a Trailblazers game.
I'm glad you brought up the Blazers because this is a sicko show, and it's very rare that the Blazers get any national media attention because they don't deserve it. But Chauncey Billups is calling out the locker room right now.
Yeah.
And he said it was, quote, an embarrassing effort. And then I'm paraphrasing, but he said guys just didn't want to play tonight. And this has happened a lot. And everyone's looking around like, who's he talking about? Need to point that finger in the mirror here, because we've seen a Trailblazers team that's looked unmotivated for quite some time. Right. So you asked Clingan versus the Time Lord and Robert Williams III, and is Chauncey Billups getting into a position now that he's desperate for wins? Otherwise, he could potentially be fired. Right. Are you playing Robert Williams III, even though you should be playing Clingan and developing him because your time is running out? And if you don't get wins, you're in trouble. Or is it going to be more of an even split without Ayton? So this one, I feel like you're throwing darts on.
It's a bummer, man, because I'm a huge Anthony Simons fan who I just pulled up here, but I like a lot of these guys are kind of unplayable until we see them play competitive basketball games. Like the Memphis Grizzlies ran them out the gym, and the Memphis Grizzlies were without half of their so it's just like, and I like a lot of those guys, but you know, Scottie Pippen Jr., Santi Aldama, Huff. Well, I just like you make up a ChatGPT name.
They got smacked.
Yeah.
They were down by 40 when I was looking or something.
Yeah.
Like
and I'm with you too. At some point, like
if you're getting Yuki highlights dropped on you, it's time to make a change. God bless Yuki. But if Yuki comes into the game, who's this year's Boban, this year's, every year there's always that Thanasis that gets the crowd going, whether it's on the road or at home. Yuki's that guy. If you get Yuki'd, then that's embarrassing, because that means the game is so out of hand that Yuki's on the floor going behind the back against you, step back from the nail on the free throw line like he's Kevin Durant in these two spaces. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, you can't get real life Rudied. And I don't mean Rudy Gobert. I mean the Notre Dame. Yeah. We should talk Phoenix just for a second here. The Kevin Durant injury sucks. Like, that's a bummer. But I do think there's like one sneaky thing from a sicko mode standpoint tonight, especially because I do think we have like late-ish swap here. So if we get news after the 7:00 game start, I believe you can still make adjustments, but don't quote me on that. If somebody in So Rare is in the chat, please confirm that. But Yusuf Nurkic is questionable, and if he plays, I think without KD, I know Nurkic is so frustrating because he's got
I can't wait for his ass to get traded. I'm a Sun stockholder. I can't stand him.
I know. He's got stone hands around the rim, brutal at the free throw line.
He's hot hands from Little Giants, man. I can't stand it. His screens are terrible. He makes just enough threes that when you see one go in, I call this the Josh Smith theory. When he was on, I started it when he was on the Detroit Pistons. When he made a 3-pointer, you could audibly hear the Palace of Auburn Hills groan, because they know that means he's about to shoot 5 more. It's a green light. And Nurkic is just like on the Mendoza line of 3-point percentage, and he's always left open. He's always underachieving. I know he's a big guy and he gets plenty of box score stats, but the eye test suggests that this is West Coast Andre Drummond. I'm so done with him. The Suns will not win a championship with him out there.
No, I totally agree.
Was chewing his ass out the other night for not passing the ball. I'm done with him.
He
will not be on my team.
An awesome audio leak, by the way. Like when that came on social media of KD chewing out Nurk, that was great stuff. Also, I love that Josh Smith reference. I'm a Celtics fan. That was our Marcus Smart. Like I don't want Marcus Smart to hit a first quarter 3-pointer, because that means he's going to take 9 more. I don't want that. But if Nurk sits, what I was going to say, Plum Dog, Plumlee played 25 minutes against Utah. I think he it was something like 31 fantasy points in that run. Somebody's going to do some damage tonight for Phoenix with no KD. I mean, obviously Booker and Bradley Beal will be elite plays. Bradley Beal should be good to go. I think, right? No, he was. People were concerned. It is Bradley Beal. But like, and then the Tyus Jones of the world, I feel like everybody in Phoenix gets a little bit.
Tyus' usage went up big time last game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing a lot more scoring as opposed to setting up KD. And you can tell he's got more initiative out there. He's probably my backcourt play, but Beal and Booker are going to be shooting 20 times a pop,
Yeah, and even Booker's shot hasn't been falling down at the rate that we're used to, but like even still, it's like a 20 and 12 almost guaranteed right now.
It's a guarantee.
Yeah, I'm definitely playing Booker. I'm definitely playing Booker tonight. But people are saying Keaton Wallace are getting the start. I'll be honest. Listen, I'm pretty plugged in. I do this every single day. I have never seen Keaton Wallace play basketball, so I can't tell you anything about his game.
Okay, pull up. You see the little bar with the statistics? Can we get his last 5 there? Thank you.
Yeah, we get his last. Wow, we get some 27s in here.
Does it give you the stats if you click on one of those bars?
Here we go. This is 125, 113. Yeah, here we go. So we had 4 points, a rebound, 3 assists, 3 blocks. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. That's 1 block worth 3 points. That makes more sense.
Okay. Now, can you click on the Celtics game? Because I have a feeling was that garbage time?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, they won by 30 in this game.
Okay. So let me see here. Points, rebounds.
Oh, shit. Sorry. I thought that was going to be, I don't know why that did it. I went full
screen.
Okay,
we're back to the France propaganda page.
that's what's happening.
Rare NBA. Welcome.
All right, back to Keaton Wallace here. We get the Celtics. All right, there we go. So, yeah, he had 6 points, 4 boards, couple assists, couple blocks. Is that 4 steals? 4 steals.
Oh, that's what did it. Okay.
All right.
All right. So I guess steals are going to be how we rack up the stats tonight. And if he's in the starting lineup, that's great that he is. But is he catch and shoot? Is he on the ball? Is he doing the Tyus Jones role of just dribbling to the court and handing it off to somebody?
Right.
There's a lot of unknowns here. And I mean, it's low risk because he costs 11 salary cap points. So I'm not going to sit here and say don't do it. But I'm always skeptical of the stepping into the starting lineups and then getting between 20 and 22 minutes max.
Right.
Not being involved at all. The whole world is going to be on him too. So is this more of a fade spot because of their opponent?
Yeah, listen, this is another situation where I'm saying, like, if you are trying to play the Atlanta game, I'm more interested in Reece Hachey, Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, those two.
Yeah, than I am trying to like figure out everything else. Somebody was asking, I feel like that he was saying, can you show your champions team? I always feel like this is a test where they're like, do they actually play the game? And I will show it to you. Okay.
Yeah, you can look up my squad for this limited week too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I will pull that up. I was going to make a change, but Wob talked me into staying with Jalen Johnson. So I'm going to be rolling out. Giannis is my my captain here, my MVP, because no Dame. He was also like the most affordable in that range. I don't have Wemby money, but I did have Giannis money. And then Devin Booker, I was very excited to get after that KD injury. We got Jalen Johnson here, and then Goga. And my last piece to make it work was DeAnthony Melton, who, if he can stay healthy, is awesome. We just need him to stay on the court. So that's what I'm rolling out. I was considering going from Jalen Johnson to Brunson and then up from Melton to Nurkic if he played, but I think I will enjoy this experience, win or lose, a lot better than playing.
Are you worried about Comrade Kerr and the communist warriors, the way that they distribute their minutes over there?
Yes.
Anthony Melton getting exactly 21 minutes like every single other player on the roster?
Yes, I'm terrified of that.
Evenly split. Everyone named Steph. The premier gets the most minutes, but after that, it's communist across the board.
Yeah, I'm terrified of that, except for the fact that Brandon Podziemski is refusing to play offense right now. And I think until he does that, Melton is going to continue to cook a little bit. But you're right, because Moses Moody's knocking down wide open shots. So they have to play him and they have to play Kuminga because otherwise he'll leak something through his agent.
All of Melton's threes are going to Buddy Hield right now.
I know, dude. Buddy's shooting 50%. I think we talked
10
about
threes a game. He's shooting 50%.
I take such a huge L on that. I try to, victory lap the W's that I get, but man, I was like, yo, congrats on the offseason. You got Buddy Hield, who couldn't get on the floor in the playoffs for the Sixers, who had nobody.
And the best signing of free agent.
I know. I suck. All right, let me pull up yours as well. And by the way, we got like 8 minutes left here, and then we got to get out of here. But I like that there's a worldwide Jeb. That's not you.
One word, worldwide, I think.
Oh, worldwide. Okay, maybe that's what I did.
Maybe that's one of my burners.
There we go. All right, so you have a team that's already live. We did this last time where somebody had to explain to me how. See pro history. There we go. And this is the live one we have right now. So we're rolling out our champion.
Yeah, don't worry about the classic is just the leftovers. So
right.
It's the one on the left is the real team.
So we got Zubac dropped 43, which I honestly thought he was going to drop 100 going against the smaller Jalen Williams as a big for OKC. But then we got Booker, Jalen Green, Josh Hart, who should play 105 minutes tonight, and then Jaden McDaniels. That's
a guaranteed triple-double. You know what? I've had Jokic in there which is just practically cheating.
Yeah.
I won money last week. I think I was in the $10 percentage. Yeah. I won $10, which means you have to finish really high to get cash.
Yeah, that is huge. That is huge.
But there's there's a lot more money at stake at the NBA Cup. So that's why I'm locked in.
Yeah, and for those, let me pull this up quickly. So they did a really good job giving away this stuff. Let me see. Oh, I wish I could find this a little bit faster so it didn't look so dorky that I don't know where
you're just live.
I know that I don't know where I'm going right now. Let's go back. So if you go to the Emirates Cup here, let's discover some new competitions. Here we go. So if you want to just play the common game, which again, bonkers that they're doing this for the free game. They're actually giving out cash. So if you finish first place in the common game, which you don't have to spend any money to play, that's $325. If you're playing the limited game, their first place prize, I believe, $525.
$525. Okay, good.
Pretty good. And then if you finish in the top 175, you're getting some money. The rare streets, that's where I just showed my Giannis lineup here. They've got $750 up for first. And then the top 100 are getting a little bit of cash back. And then, if you're just like a rich person and you're playing in the super rare world, we've got 1,000 up top for first or 1,075. And then the uniques, who I don't know if anybody watching is playing in the uniques world, but 1,500 for first. So shout out to Solar NBA for putting this together, because the Emirates Cup stuff is pretty fun. It's a good sweat. I like that it's daily too.
I find myself, I'm invested in props and games, overs, unders, and against the spread. But I was watching the Clipper game last night, like screaming at Zubac because he's on my damn Sorare team, and I really the financial implications of winning the couple bucks that I did, I was still like, I cared more about that than I did my big ass bet where I wasn't even paying attention to it because I'm just so used to blasting off on against the spread and stuff. So it's fun at the very least.
It's clout. At that point, it's clout.
It is. You know what? That's what it is. I want to be able to flex, and I can put together the best team. But it's different than like fantasy leagues, because the whole world gets to see your fantasy league.
Right. Right. No, I'm with you. I'm totally with you with that. I like the Zubac one was funny because I feel like he did nothing in the first half, and then I feel like Ty Lue just grabbed him by the jersey and was like,
"They're playing small ball. The tallest guy on their team is 6'6".
Just go be big.
More stats."
It was so confusing, because then in the third quarter he came out and was like, finally started doing some big boy stuff. It was good.
The way Homer Simpson chokes Bart is what I imagine that halftime locker room looked like. Like Aaron Wiggins is their tallest player.
That's right. All right. I'm going to get to a couple of questions, and then we're going to wrap up here. I apologize for not going as long as we normally do, but I normally have Tuesday night activities. We don't do this one. So
activities.
Yeah, I know.
A date or like pickleball?
No. Neither. I'm a freelance trivia host. So I got to go host some trivia on Tuesday night.
You do have some HQ trivia, the cadence to your voice. That's what you remind me of.
I do. For a long time, my Twitter handle was Hot Rogowski. If you guys remember the
Scott Rogowski. Holy shit. I knew it. I knew you sounded like somebody. All right. You got aspirations but you're going to miss all the sicko basketball.
Well, I am in charge of the TV when I get to the bar. So we will have, the Knicks will be on. The Knicks will be on.
I wonder how much of your audience will understand your Atlanta Hawks, Risa Shea, Jalen Johnson quips.
They won't understand any of it.
Even the crickets won't be crickets.
No, it's in Midtown too. So there's nobody's watching. There's no NBA sickos in Midtown Manhattan. There's none.
And your whole crowd is somewhere else watching the Knicks and Sixers. So you completely missed.
Exactly. There's no reason for me to be doing it. But if this was your first time joining us, we've been doing this every Friday. We've been doing this on Friday and we'll have the second installment, I guess, of the Emirates Cup on Friday. But it will also be in line with like the next game week on SoBrare. So that should be a lot of fun. Also, I see a lot of people trying to guess what the giveaway was. There was no giveaway, but I do like that everybody's putting hashtag cup check into the chat. I think that was pretty funny. So we'll save that for Friday. But I don't know. Anything else? Any other takes you need to get off the chest before we wrap up here?
I'd certainly appreciate a Knicks victory. That's for sure.
The
reactions to this game tonight are going to be hyperbolic, to say the least. but they're kind of deserved. Karl-Anthony Towns giving up 90% at the rim to the Knicks opponents. Got Joel Embiid in town, loves to foul dudes out, no one on the bench. And then if the Sixers lose, I mean, they're at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. The problem is all of these like terrible records, they don't matter because third place is at 500 too. All you have to do is win 2 games and you're back in the playoffs. So
that's the thing. It was like fun to freak out about it until you looked at the standings and you were like, oh,
they'll both be fine in the long run. But
totally
I would prefer, for the content's sake, to continue to overreact.
Totally agree. This is also the first time that we see Karl-Anthony Towns take on somebody that can foul him out. Like, I feel like you guys haven't experienced foul trouble Karl-Anthony Towns yet.
No, not yet.
It is on the menu for tonight, I feel like.
Great.
Or he balls out, and then it's just like, New York rallies around him, Bodega Cat forever,
Let's go.
Yeah. All right, G, this is great. Always love doing this. Thank you for doing some sicko stuff with us. Appreciate everybody that tuned in, whether it was on X or on YouTube. We'll be back again on Friday with our normal slate. And I don't know. I would love for us to do this again on Friday and us have won some stuff. Like, it would be cool if we won some stuff tonight. I don't think that's too much.
Everyone would say it's rigged, though.
Good. That's listen, the culture we live in, man. Everything's rigged. All right. So, all right, let's call it there. Enjoy some basketball hoops. Get your glasses on for all those bright lights on the courts.
Life's rigged. Mike.
Life's rigged. There we go. Life's rigged. That was the presenting sponsor. Go sign up for So Rare if you haven't done it yet. Best of luck. We'll see you guys on Friday. We're out of here.